Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Millstone, Shalom, alright, and called Tawada La Yahweh Barasham Eroshai, which means all thanks to Yahweh Barasham Eroshai. And today, really, Shidomite was stressing me in the train, because of me wearing a mask, but not in the correct manner, right? So, they have to put it over their nose, like when it's about millimeters, right? So really I was keeping it spiritual and without, being too much into the truth, because you can't just walk around and tell everybody that you are in the truth, okay, and you are an Israelite, you can't do that, right? So I was basically to the spirit, Yahweh basically gave me that spirit, right? So I had to start basically, to talk with her, like in a way, where she would know, okay, she has nothing to do and she's a fucking heathen, alright, and really she was kind of like emotional destroyed in that moment, okay, because she wanted to act like a demon before all the other people, right, that listened basically, because really all the heathens in it basically there had nothing to do, but whatever. I had something to do, but whatever, man, it is what it is, right? But without much talking, we go into the topic of today. She said like, oh, she will go to the lawyer, so basically she did a photo of me, alright, and I was like, just do it, like people do photos on the camp also, and we basically are like, you can't stop it to some point, because they really think that they are doing, like the scripture says, a service to Allah, which is not the case, and really it will come to their destruction. But anyway, not the topic, so but just wanted to talk about it. This is really a real quick testimony, alright, and this is basically about my past life, because before I came to the truth, I had a lot to do with doing party, doing drugs, doing, like to say, consciousness, consciousness, basically drugs or stuff that brings you basically to another consciousness. Just, it's a lot from English, but that's just what it is, right? So basically you had like drugs that were not alcohol and not just weed, I didn't do like you can only do it in urines, you push that stuff to a needle to urines. No, man, okay, I didn't do so, right? The only things what I did was like basically like, MDMA, which is basically a party drug, right? So we had it in the crystallized form, we had it also in the, market good looking form, right? So basically we had various kind of different drugs. Okay, I also tried out cocaine. I also tried out, of course, weed. I stopped really late when it comes to the truth, but I stopped, right? Because it was not going well in connection, right? And if you listen to this, I suggest that you will stop also. Okay, if you are on the truth, okay, and you listen to the elders and apostles, okay, you should stop, okay? And of course there is a certain time where you should stop, right? And basically I stopped, and with all, but how you say, marijuana, okay, which is a blend basically, but cocaine is also a blend, you can't just say, oh, blend, this, that, right? Because if I would study something in this world, it would be botanic studies, right? Or botanical, or you say in English, right? So the study of plants, okay, and in this time even I would study ornithology, right, which is the study of birds, so I wouldn't even go too much into plants right now, okay? But I really don't want to study because it just not benefit me, okay? It will not benefit me in any kind, okay? Because I'm a man who looks for the benefit of the future, especially when it comes to the very future where we live in right now, where we are basically creating that future, right? Because we are, as you know, in the last days, right? You can't deny that. So I do things on my own, and I study things like the way I want it, with the certain taste to it, or with the certain spicy taste to it, which is basically a truth to it, right? So I know things and I connect them with the scriptures, I connect them with the truth, and guess what? I get that better information, right? But anyway, the topic is drugs basically, and it started, like the series I watch at the moment called Wir Kinder vom Bahnhof Zoo, which is a German series. Maybe it's available in English also, I don't know. But it's basically about young people doing drugs, okay? And there's a scripture about don't let anybody basically attack you because of your past, right? When it comes to you being actually very young, right? And it started basically with me doing drugs. I really came into the state of being a young man going to work really, really young. I started with 15 with my school basically, but it was not a school, it was more a school in our working place, right? So you had like 2 weeks school, and then you had like 2 weeks working, working place, right? So it was basically more a working place than a school, right? But you had to do it both. I started with 15, and it is really early if you think about it, right? Because most people, if they study, some cave monkey studies, they will start to work like, even to their, 30s, sorry, But basically, and again, nothing against you if you do so, okay, or if you prepare to do so or whatever, right? Everybody has his own lot and his own personal abilities and characteristics, right? So really I started to, especially with one friend of mine, I started to doing drugs basically, and to go to a party like you see Jake doing today, but they're basically older than me even, I don't say my age, but you know what it is, right? And they have nothing to do but to do party, right? And I was really, I was basically like, okay, I don't care for the future, but I wanted to start with YouTube, okay, at some point, and do some worky stuff, right? But it came that Yahweh was basically, he reached out to me in the spirit, and I started to, I started a YouTube channel, but as early as I started it, I started to do a Christian YouTube channel, right? So it happened that I was 1 year a Christian, and then I came to the, studies of the Africans basically first off, with the real Hebrew Israelites, things like that, right? There's even a movie and this and that, And then I started to came to GMS, right? Because the brothers, they saw me basically, right? So what happened is that I even changed basically my living place because of that, right? So I even moved because of that, because I knew the brothers and I knew that it's the best way for me to go there, right? So basically, let's read that. Torque late 14th century, okay, early 14th century in Anglo-French, any substance used in the composition or preparation of medicines, from Old French trouge, okay, supply, stock, provision, 14th century, which is of unknown origin. Perhaps it is from Middle Dutch or Middle Low German Torquewert, twy barrels, or Torque very literally twy wares. Okay, so before we went into parties, I was already dancing, right? So when that truck stuff came in, basically, we started to dance even more. Basically, you have Elder Apostle Tahar, okay? You had him saying like, you know, he would even suggest at some point, you know, to do drugs, you know. Of course it is illegal and you shouldn't come in, you know, in problems with the law which is given right now by cave monkeys, of course, you know. But what he means is that drugs will open the eyes of, or had opened the eyes of many, okay, and this is just proven to be, okay. And I don't know if it was with me also, but I even tried out LSD, okay. I tried out basically everything, okay, but not things like you again, and you know, with a needle you do it in your veins, isn't that right? Like you show it in this series, for example, the Kinder von Bahnhof Zoo, right? You know, heroin, okay, or you know, harder stuff, okay. Again, I tried out cocaine, LSD, and some of these things more than one time. Okay, weed, of course, that was the common drug, okay. And really we were the most known people in Munich, which is in Bavaria, which is in Germany, okay, who brought that jerking style of, you know, a way of dancing to Munich, right? And then it went into rave, basically, you know, which is a dance style of drug users, you know, but drug users are not stupid, I'll just say it like that. Like Elder Apostle Tahor basically connected a little bit things, right? So, you know, it sounds a little bit stupid, but from that, you know, from the jerking style, you know, doing so with jakes, I started to doing things with maybe also jakes, but most likely Edomite people. I started to going to waves, you know, where they basically also dance, but in a more simple way. But it's, you know, I don't look back, but of course it helped me to understand how things work, basically, you know, because through having these friends, these Edomite friends, I understood what Edomites really are and how life really is, because if you do drugs for yourself, you really understand how beautiful, but also how strange and, you know, how... you know what it is, basically how it can get, man, you know. I don't say bad, because again there's this one part to it where you can say like it can help you, you know, and I leave it with that. All right. Come. So of course if you're in the truth you don't do drugs, right, and I don't have to tell you that, right? So let's continue. Compare dry goods 17.8, so-called because they were measured out in dry, not liquid measure, and Latin species in late Latin, worse than specialized species, spices. French épice, English spiced, same. Sauce produced Italian and Spanish turgor, Swedish turg. Okay, specific application to narcotics and opiates, okay, is by late 19th century. Okay, I saw an article of ESO, okay, about 10 drugs that you do day by day without knowing, you know, that you actually doing drugs day by day, okay. You know, and it, you know, it's just what it is, you know. That's why I wanted to study botanical, you know, or plants basically. It's because basically, you know, I wanted to know what basically we do with our temple, right? You know, just like that. And also I love plants, but at the moment, as I said, I would study birds, but I don't need Esau there to tell me some Latin words about birds that I don't, you know, that I will not use because the time is too short in any kind of working place or any kind of company. You know, there's not enough time, and also I don't have the time to do so at all. Okay, this work is most important, right? So it worked out well for me in any case, which you would basically, you know, expect from a Hebrew Israelite being in the truth, right? Because at least I came into the truth and I learned from my experiences in whatever happened, okay? Just say it like that. And also, drugs really showed me like what what Yahweh made in this earth, man. He's not just some common power, man, okay? First off, he's a power of all, and second, okay, he does things with a certain reason. And if you think about it, man, okay, you have a plant which is called cocaine, which was the most interesting drug of all what I did in a kind of changing me, because in this truth you have to be like, what it is, but at a certain point you acting like you are on cocaine, right? And this is basically just knowing yourself and you knowing that you are a Hebrew Israelite in the truth, right? So really, drugs are for people who don't know, what they should do with their life, right? And that's just Esau, people that, I don't know, studied 2 times, like my best friend in that time studied musician school, like six, like you say, a semester, which means basically a half of a year, which means you basically go to a university. And she studied something different after that also, and she was already finished when we were basically in the same age. So, that were my friends at that time, and it shows you that these people actually even say that they need something to, destroy their horns, what they say, after their hard studies in Esau's cave monkey system, right? And now she's into witchcraft, okay? That's no coincidence because, she was a little bit too much into that stuff, right? And, she says like, oh, I only do white magic, this and that, but you're doing magic and you're a witch and you have to be killed. And I told her something that shows her that she is on the wrong way, right? And I don't like her, or I don't feel to help her or so whatever, because I believe she is Shidomite, We don't know for sure, but I would say so, right? Because she was from Hungary, or Ungarn, you say in Germany, and not so German or whatever at all. And even if you would be German, you don't know. Okay, like Elder Apostle Gabor said it, many of these Germans, right? So let's continue, okay, because we don't want to make this too long. And also one scripture, what I will quote, I don't want to pull it out in this video, okay, but let me say it like that. And that's the spirit, man. Right where I do my videos in the basically outdoors, and you have like few teenagers, basically doing drugs, man. And that's, and there's nothing what you can say against it, because even the police and all these wannabe criminal or anti-criminal agents and whatever the fuck these cave monkeys think that they are, they're corrupt, okay? Like the Bible says it, and that's the verse what I will go out with. They're all corrupt, and they all, what is it? Don't know God? Is it that? Correct me in the comment board if you know. But that's the point of the lesson, and a little testimony, as I said, because I really didn't talk about it a lot. And if it helps you, that's even better. But again, all are liars, corrupt, and all evil, and all don't know Allahayim. And Allahayim means powers, and the one and true and only power, which made it happen that, that all these things happened like the way they happened to be. Because also my mother died, okay, and also I really didn't, I was being like, of course you had to cry a little bit, but really I didn't do so, right? I was like, okay, it happened like it happened, man, and and before you may ask yourself, no, I didn't went into drugs because of my mother died, and after it I did so. No. Okay, I started doing drugs way before my mother talked to me okay, I have relatives, okay, younger than me and older than me, sisters and brothers, right? But she said it to me the first time that she is sick and she will maybe have only like 16 months or so to live, right? Or even less, alright? And I was the only one, you know, who she talked with, okay, when it comes to that, okay? And I was not being like, you know, oh, now I do drugs. No, man, I started before that, okay? And she even knew it, okay? And that was one good part of her, that I do weed, okay? That I do, like you say, dope, okay? And she was basically like, oh, look what you got there in the, you know, on the table, okay? What you lost there, basically. And she didn't say nothing, she just said that I lost something there, okay? That shows that, you know, some of the scenes are not so stupid. Again, okay, I don't say do these drugs, and I, you know, just like the Apostle Tahar, you know, don't, you know, don't talk with me, talk with him, you know, if you have questions. They're not so stupid, right? Because if everybody would smoke in that, you know, in that high value and that high manner, or in that high number, you know, or in that high like the much the you know, some people do it, everybody would see basically how cave monkey the system is, this and that, right? Because you have actually people thinking that they have a voice, going to the politicians and give their voice, right? Like they think they have voice. Okay, so basically, you know, this is how it went, man. Okay, and she never said something again, but she knew, and she was basically, you know, when I said to her that I will study, back then it was like philosophy. Was it philosophy? Yeah, it was philosophy, okay, or philosophy, and she was like all in you know, positive mode and thinking like I'm the best son, this and that. When I said to her that I want to study that, right, or to study in general, right. The other times when I didn't said something like that, she was, you know, she was in knowledge of me taking these drugs, you know. Maybe it was because of my consciousness, because also I have some psychological reasons why I can't basically, you know, it's just hard for me to sit in a school, just, you know, let me say it like that, and, you know, to hear Esau like he is trying to teach me something, okay, about especially history, okay. If you listen to history and you think about how much lies you can tell in 1 minute, it's just disturbing, and it basically blocks your whole consciousness in a way of where you don't want to listen to everything what is told in a, you know, in a house like this. You know what it is, right? And you know, drugs will give me more experience and knowledge, especially this truth, and also the internet, about what I can hear in my whole life of a university and a school both together, right? You know, just to say it in a quicker way. But anyway, you know, this is just what I did, and this is a testimony, okay. And again, every brother and sister is different, and every family is different, and every experience is different, right? And I don't say do drugs, okay, and I don't say that it didn't help me, if you can calculate with that what I said right here. Specific application to narcotics and opiates, okay. If you look at Babylon the Great, which is America, it shows you that opiates, okay, are basically the witchcraft of Esau, what he is selling to these people, okay. And then his own system is basically telling you, okay, oh, this and that, right? You know, most people are drug addicted in America, actually, I think even in the whole world. you know, made of opiates, basically, you know, also. But that's not just the only drug, especially if you look at Germany, Frankfurt, okay, Frankfurt am Main, okay, the international city where the GMS Germany camp is at. Okay, you had that one guy who is called the snowman, okay, because he sold cocaine, right? And he was basically the most most wanted, okay, drug seller back here in Frankfurt, okay. Like you had these people grabbing cocaine out of the stones, like they see something white and they just, you know. And you know, it's different, man. It's different if you think about it, right? It's different, man. In America, you have that same thing, okay, but with drugs that are basically legalized, which you have here in Germany, and in some cases not even, right? So it's everything where you see it's basically different, and you can't say that, oh, you know, like here in Germany you have like alcohol. Even if you're 16, you can drink beer, and I believe even you can drink beer until you die, basically. Like, you know, people that study plants say it to you in that way. Like, you can do every drug. It just depends on how much you take from it. And that's actually even what I would say also. You know, not when it comes to cocaine, don't get me wrong, and all these other, you know, hard drugs, you know, you know what it is, but, you know, I have to stop the video, okay? But, you know, like in certain months of the year, I also go out to take a plant, okay? And no, I don't do witchcraft, this and that, okay? But I go out, take a plant, and flowers of the plant, you know, give me certain vitamins, and also, you know, a good, what is it? It, you know, like I'm really nervous sometimes, and it helps me to calm a little bit down. So I basically pick them up outside. I know where to find them, how they look, this and that, right? Don't get me wrong, don't pick up anything, you know, this and that, right? You have to study that a little bit. Like we do it in the truth, we study herbs, right? That's how I connect things, right? I first I first look into the truth and look what's important to me, and then I go to Ethos and fucked up Cave Monkey system and look what still important to me, okay? And that's why I again wanted to study plants, but now it's ornithology, and also I figure out, you know, how much these birds are disturbed and, you know, basically died out, man, you know, because of Isa. But you know, it is what it is, and basically, if I would take too much of the plant, or even of that, you know, just some flowers there, man, you know, I would actually, I believe 9 or so. If I take 9 or 10 or so at the same moment, you know, I would not just overthrow, but also I would basically die at some point because of a heart attack and this and that, right? You know, and basically you can say then it's a drug, right? So of course you have to study all the drugs if you do them, right? And this and that, right? So we were not so stupid at all, you might think, right? Because I still live, okay, and you know, and today I think of it, you know what it is, you know. But I still live, right? And this is, you know, my experience, right? And with that, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of the Mitzvah Shalom.